Kia ora, air whores. I just watched this amazing video, a podcast of this dude that's just a crack up. His name's Jason Ellis. He was a skater in the 90s that I knew about, Aussie guy, who did big things with power and stuff. And he was talking about how he wasn't that naturally gifted at the sport. He just worked super hard until he made something out of it, and that's quite incredible because I had so much natural talent at skateboarding. It wasn't even hard for me to do the hardest tricks. I just I tried, like, I kept on going and wouldn't stop until I got it, and I just knew heaps of really hard tricks. And this guy, he didn't have that, but he made it top 5 in the world for a long time. Imagine what I could have done if I never got medicated and messed up by all this bullshit I've been through. And that makes me think, what is it that I can still do, even though I feel like I'm trapped by this situation, um, labeled bipolar, labeled depressed, labeled anxious, labeled all this bullshit, scared, fearful, traumatized, all this bullshit. Why the heck cannot I find a way out of this crap? Grow my bloody hair back and do what I'm supposed to do. Why? I mean, the woo's on the wall telling me it's all possible. And I'm a great rhymer, I'm a great person. I mean, my style's decidedly 90s. That's where I'm from. I'm a 90s teenager. I'm, I'm, yeah. I mean, all the dudes that I knew from rap they were all younger than me. I didn't know the ones my age. I don't even know how old King Capice and those guys are, but they just always inspired me. I bought the first Caps album, or the one that had um, Five Pair, which my old friend that I worked on a house with, John, told me means let it go, do your thing, sort of thing, like just be yourself. And I love that saying. Screams from the Old Plantation, yeah, that with that album, I love that shit. I love it. And what was it? And yeah, I remember talking to a Samoan friend from uni about Joseph. His name was about like, does he listen to King Capice? And he said, "Oh, those are the real hard out Samoans. I don't have time for that." I was like, "Bro, who are you?" And it was because I was in the planning school. Planners are naturally very conservative people, but I liked Joe. He was cool. All his friends played in the Samoan national league team. Like, he was like a massive dude, really good player, and he treated me with respect. We got along really well. And that was the thing that I sort of forgot about because I've been isolated for so long, like just not doing that many things really due to funding, due to these fucking benefits being like nothing. I mean, I'm grateful for the benefit because it means I'm still alive, but you don't know what that's like, hey? If you haven't been on it, it's like you're just like crushed, and it slowly gets worse and worse and worse with the cost of living rising, and it doesn't change. It's just like, it's ruthless. And this video right here with me talking is my way out. And thank you, Strong Cole, for giving me this computer on tick so that I can make these videos, so that I can be someone in the world and say some things. My good friend James told me, Brokey, he told me that I am very talented for being able to speak about a certain topic and not ramble about the things, just talk about what matters and keep to the point. And that's a skill. I usually only use it conversationally between one or two people, but like now I've decided, fuck it. I mean, I'm a genius in a lot of ways. I'm fucking dumb in some other ways, of course. Let's face it, with women, I'm a fucking retard. I fuck that up every day, or every way to Sunday. I ruin every relationship. I I can't do it. Like, I like freak out when someone looks at me in the street because I've had my heart broken so many times because I'm such a sensitive cat. I'd need a woman from like 1950 who was actually mellow, like pre all the bullshit. Probably pre contact, probably 1840, 1835. Irish or Maori or something like a Dane or something like that. Someone that was actually mellow. I had a Swedish girlfriend for a while. Online girlfriend. I had a Mexican one. All this stuff, like, because I like connect emotionally through talking to people, and I care for people more than most people ever do, and that's even beyond what this shit does to me, deadening my emotions and deadening my feelings and making me so I don't even feel like having sex with anyone because it's just numbing those feelings out. And my old friend Jasmine, who was my old peer support, she told me that that's what the meds do. And the meditation I always did changed it. It made me get a bit horny and like I always want to do something, have a beat off or whatever. But like with that stuff, it just sort of blocks it all. And I don't meditate like I used to, so I don't get those feelings. So I'm basically, yeah, relying on the Pornhub, which is so whack. I don't like that stuff at all. It's really foul. It's not natural. And I see my eyes, like I look at them and I see the imbalance in the structure of my face and my eyes being like this one's bigger than that one, and like that's all structure of the face and structure of the feelings and emotion, yin yang balance. And I had an Alexander Technique practitioner, and I'm like, why don't I do something like that? Become an Alexander Technique practitioner and sell the skill that I get for a cheap price, because I know plenty of people could use that. And making all these modalities only available to the very rich is disgusting to me. It's like all those people, they're kind of like cancers. They like parasitic. They take, and that they only, I mean, I've seen a lot of things in my life, and I know that there's a lot more to life than it looks like. It's like the Transformers more than meets the eye, motherfucker. And it's like so hard uh, to be here, really, because I mean, I'm in a situation where I pay rent like many people do, like maybe you do, and someone who has capital just gathers more capital. And I mean, that's the way the game runs. It's the rules of the game. Capital gathers capital, gathers capital, gathers capital. And that is what it is, and it feels a bit unfair, but that's how it is. And if you're gonna bitch about it, fucking shut the fuck up, because it is hard out here. And like I like to pay my rent because I like this place. I like to be here. And I mean, even every flat I've had, I've found something in it. I've found some freedom in it. And making this video here is how I can give to you of me and my talents and what I know. You know, I held a master's degree from the University of Auckland. I got second class, second division honours, even though I struggled with bipolar and even schizophrenia for much of that time when I couldn't study. And I mean, yeah, I'm worth listening to. And honestly, I'm worth giving donations to. And I hate to ask for them now because everyone seems to be struggling under the cost of living and they're not able to give. And I don't feel like I made those videos saying all that stuff about that because I was bummed out and feeling bad. But now I'm starting to look at it like everyone's in a similar position to me to a degree these days because of mortgages, because of everyone having kids that I know, because that people that buy houses spend all their money on their mortgage, their death grip. Go listen to Death Grips. Apparently that's a dope ass show. Ruben Steph told me it was a good band back in the day. I never showed it much interest. He also loved El Producto LP. I did pay some attention to that guy, and Killer Mike. I had some RTJ 2, 1, 3. Saw them live once. It was an incredible show. So thanks, Ruben, for inspiring me to do that. I also saw Joey Badass that night, and he was fucking badass. And this is the interesting thing about these high-level sports, which I watched an interview with Eminem where he was talking about rap as a sport, where we like actually have to represent for our level on the playing field of the verse and the show, and we have to really do our job. And I've been out here like struggling with my head and unable to rep for I feel Woo is the closest crew to what my heart is. I used to feel like Jurassic 5 was, but then I met those cats, a few of those cats, and they judged me for being mentally a bit fucked up. And I feel like Woo would get it because they propped Nardwuar, like especially Raekwon the chef. I think he'd understand. Like he propped Nardwuar for his fit, for his clothes. And Nardwuar's a buzzy cat. He's in a buzzy, weird ass motherfucking genius dude. And I can relate to that. And I'm more down to earth than Nardwuar is because, like, basically, I fucking built block walls when I was 16 years old. I built footings for houses. I fucking used fucking earth compactors. I've driven diggers. I've used concrete cutters. I've done all sorts of random shit. I've done drain laying, done uh, building retaining walls. I've mowed 10,000 lawns probably. I've also got high level degrees. I got 1A plus at uni from Michael Gunda, associate professor. I think he's retired now, but that was a very, I know he's retired. And Mohsen Mohammed Zadeh's got his job, and he's a much similar man, a very philosophical based man who studies Lacan. He loves Lacan, which is something I liked, but not enough to want to know it that much. Foucault was more interesting. The police is filling the policy of the country, and it is interesting all that stuff. And I will say, like, I could teach you so much, and I did lecture at uni, so you can gain something from this. And most people will charge you for that, but these days, in the days of podcasts and the days of free content, which is my soul, basically, you just get that for free, and we have to make our money some other way. And I hate ads. Let's face it, ads are a part of life these days. This is my ad for the Wu-Tang. Go listen to that shit. It'll knock your socks off. Into the 36 Chambers by the ODB is the best album, in my view, of all of them. But there are some very great artists and very great albums. And read on the Iso Lee blog on WordPress my review of their show that I went to. A lot of my posts got deleted. I put them in the trash and then they got deleted, so you won't read those ones again. But whatever, that one's there, still exists, so you can have a check of that. And there's plenty of things I want to do in life, and a lot of them are basis of money. But I know that Lucky Lance and El Truento probably did their EP for pretty much free. They just used their mic. Chris uses studio. I've been to a studio. I used to study beat making from him. I learned how to use Ableton, and I made some cool beats. However, I lost my computer that I made a lot of the beats on, and had the program that I bought, and I couldn't. He was so shocked that I actually paid for the program. But that's how my heart is. It may seem weird that I do want to support everyone that makes stuff for their hard labor, but that's the only way I feel like I am worth anything, is to support something. So I see their new album, which they probably made for nothing, just use their skills and their already investment into their studios. And I see that, and I want to give them $35, and they're asking for $12, but I want to give them $35. Money is really hard for me to get, and it's very hard for me to come by. It's very hard for me to spend on things these days because food is just so bloody expensive. I've eaten rice with sauce last 2 nights. I had rice with margarine last night, a bowl of rice with margarine, and tonight I had a bowl of rice with my mom's lovely relish with onion that she made with tomatoes. Yeah, that was me. So, like, yeah, like, it's interesting how we don't need as much as we think we need to get by. Like, I was looking up Ruth's Chris, and all the Americans on the 9 Club say Ruth's Chris, but it's a Ruth's Chris. It's a, like, steakhouse, and it has, like, crayfish quota tails and shrimps and steaks, obviously, and all that sort of great rich food. And I was thinking, like, yeah, that's the food to have. But then I was like, you're gonna get gout if you eat that shit. Like, if you eat a humble feed, a humble feed, a humble feed, a humble feed, and you have a rich feed on a Friday night, that's probably gonna be okay. I mean, like, we used to always have fish on a Friday because we're Catholic, Irish Catholic, from my grandmother, and that was how we did it. Like, that's how we lived. And I mean, my grandfather, he's full English, Church of England Anglican, and my other side is Presbyterian, Scottish, and like the Protestants and Irishmen. So I got Irish cut over and English cut over, and these people, people think that your grandparents don't make up much of who you are. Well, my friend, homie James Berkey thinks that, but I've been taught a lot different from my dad that your grandparents sort of feed into who you are. And I was learned from the Jews, my Jewish friend Jethro, and I was reading about Jewish whakapapa and how it passes through the mother. And I was thinking, like, why do I feel so brown? What is it about me that does that? And it's my mum's Māori, my nana's Māori, uh, my great grandmother's Māori, my great great grandmother's Māori, and then her mother, great, and then they're all Māoris after that. So, and I think the only no, they're all Māori women. So I've come all the way through Māori women. So why the fuck am I such a black cunt? See, I say this and everyone comes up in arms. But fucking Tyler says faggot on his fucking rap songs and he's a bisexual. Like, why the hell? I was reading James K. Baxter's poetry. I bought some books, and also my mentor Stephen Gardening. He lent me some James K. Baxter. I was reading that the cops always would call black people niggers. Like, how the hell can't brown people in Aotearoa say that word, and then all the whites, oh my god, you can't say that. But actually, like, that was just the same over here as it was over there. So, and I'm Irish, so they called us white niggers, you know? Like, I don't have, and if you're going to say I can't say what I am to re empower myself through that word, then you're a racist because you're saying I'm not who I am. And I am who I fucking am. Look at me. Look at how fucking Irish I look. I actually look a lot Danish too because I'm really Danish, and I don't know what the slur for Danish was amongst white people, English people, but there would have been one. And one other thing I think is interesting is how I noticed Siobhan Rukiri put up a post of a photo of her and all these hard out old white dudes, very beautiful women, and they're all it's like scary. They're like predators on the brown person. And I notice that when I'm out walking around and I dress like a G because that's what I am. And like an Irish always fight in the streets in Boston. And it's like I don't fight because my dad is like a Protestant. He taught me to be non-physical, so don't do it. Whatever. Yeah, so it is difficult. Like, oh man, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Yeah, so they're all Danish and Scots, and yeah, so I'm like Sacred Heart of Mother Mary Catholic. So we had the fish on the Friday. That's what it was. So the rich food is for rare occasion. You're not supposed to go so hard out on that. And I think if you have a taste for it, and if your body loves the feeling of the food, then you're gonna eat it. But to be careful with what we take into our bodies and our minds is the most important thing in life. Like, I stay here, I hear my landlord screaming at whoever or whatever, I don't know what he's up to, and I feel the fucking chi in my body get really affected by that. Like, I feel bad when he does that because it's such a negative energy, and I fucking hate that. And if I had more power in this society, I'd probably just try and find somewhere else to live. But at the same time, I always think every situation has drawbacks and advantages, and things aren't perfect anywhere for any reason for any time. And I know my brother Capo is going to get on this and tell me his thoughts, which is kind of great that he even does that because he's from Burma, the bro. Oh, I've outed you in a way, bro, but look, barely anyone that's going to listen this far. Who knows? But I think people don't realize that life is essentially very difficult for everyone, and the way we all hide our true colors about what it is terrible. Like Cindy Lauper says, she can see it, and I can see it, so I know what people feel. I know when they're embarrassed. I know when they're shy. I know when they judge me. I know I can see it on their face. And the hilarious thing is Bob Dylan is exactly like me, and my dad loves Bob. And the Chuck D is the Bob Dylan of the 80s and 90s, 80s generation, I reckon. So, and he used to follow me on the old Twitter. He followed everybody, I think, that he liked. But the thing is, I'm thinking about how to be of value to everybody, to the society, to the people, to the community. And it's definitely through providing thoughts and experiences and knowledge and understanding for the good of all. Because the sun shines on the wicked and the good, my bro, is probably the best line in the freestyle I did to a degree. This, and it's not mine. It's from the Bible. It's from like it's biblical, you know. And like to do a song coming up with Afro is a huge deal. He's done one of the greatest songs, which has got like about 80 million views or something. Freedom Form Flowing with the Gift of Gab and R.A. the Rugged Man. Gab's gone. That really sucks. I loved Gab. Gab got me through some really hard days and nights when I was younger. Black Alicious, Blazing Arrow, Nia, The Craft, those albums have meant a lot to me. They're very, very amazing. And I did get some of his later work, and I do want to collect it. I've got the vinyl of The Craft. Yeah, like I'm from that era, and my mum actually got me that for my birthday. She went into Beat Merchants in the city in Victoria Street, and she had to ask them, "Do you take a check?" Because she ain't a rich lady. She's a working class lady. My dad probably could have got me that straight liquid, but he never would. But that's him. That's him. That's why he's liquid. And then she asked, and I think it was Shay Camerera. He said, "For you, we will do this." And see, that's like people think I'm a rich boy from the shore, but my mum's working class. She worked in a libraries, Westlake fucking boys library. She wasn't the boss. She was one of the working ladies there that did the job, you know, teaching the kids how to use computers and stuff like that. And she's a good lady. She had a Honda Vigor and a Nissan Skyline, so that's how fresh she was. She is, and she didn't like go, "I want to get the car." She just got a car, and that was her dope car that she had. She's a dope person, and she's a fucking badass driver too. So watch out. She's the little old lady from Odewa. So she's a pretty dope person. So I'm just trying to say, like, all the shit I get for being like so-called rich and stuff. You know how hard it was for me to get that Wu-Tang print from Gasper? I had to work. I didn't get that scholarship one. It took me 2 years of studying my masters to get that scholarship, and I was dead broke every day. I couldn't eat food. I had to go to the temple to eat often, and that was a hard place to be because they didn't really accept me for who I am. But I did it. I did what I had to frickin' do. I got scholarships. I got like Partnership Appeal Award from the University of Auckland when they had um, that. The scholarships office was open and you could go in there. They'd give me $100 of food vouchers a week. I got $500. I just hustled, man. I hustled and I hustled, and for a long time I had no food. And like I remember my old flatmate Daniel. He made me a blueberry smoothie, and he said he was worried about me having no food. And I'm like, dude, I'm on a mission from God, doing my effort. And to get kicked out of my degree pathway into PhD because I didn't get a high enough mark, motherfucker, I got bipolar fucking 1. If you don't see me as being good enough, that's one thing. But if you think that my disorder doesn't make shit harder for me, you're bullshit. One day I'll get into that program. One day I'll get into Boston to MIT to do my master's, my PhD. And I'll get over there and I'll be in New York City and LA doing some raps and stuff. And it'll be like the 90s. It'll be OG shit because I ain't trying to be a billionaire. My friend Andrew Murray told me I could be a billionaire, and I don't know it because I'm just like Elon Musk. Because I'm so bright, whatever. But to me, Elon, he has this view on life where he has to like move to Mars and shit and like okay, cool. He's got to have something to do. He's like my friend Reese's dad, Reese Bobillier's dad, Mark. He had to have something to do, which was be successful in business with his company Adventure Vans to make a lot of money send his boys to Kings or whatever he did. I think Chris may have gone to grammar, but this is what I'm trying to say is like I may say some shit in my life that makes you think a certain way about me, or you may have a perception about me, but you don't know anything about me. Like my auntie is, I think she's CEO of Lewis Road Creamery or something. I don't know, it's something like this. I see. To me, it's not about that because I'm a Maori man. I'm boy in some ways, man in some ways, and I'm Irish. I think about people and what they do and who they are and their qualities as people more than what money they have, what degree they have, what awards they've won. My friend architect Nat Cheshire, he wins awards. He almost was sort of a bit put out by the fact that I really wasn't there for him being that. I mean, I like the fact that he's the expert and a disciplined man, and he's a arts expert. He can teach me something every time I'm not going to learn because I never went to art school. But I ain't there for that. I'm there because he's my friend. That's it. Fucking nothing else matters to me. Because I knew him when he was board sliding the block at Altair and he was landing that shit and he was doing it well. And fuck, that was gangster. And he's a cool motherfucker. He's a good person. He got me to ollie this gap down in Freeman's Bay. There's now a fence there, so you can't. Well, it'd be pretty fucking hard. You'd have to have a lawn tramp to ollie that shit now. But that was a bit of a solid gap, like about that or maybe a meter and a half, meter and a bit, 1.2, and then a drop of about that much. And he said, I want you to do this gap. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. And I fucking popped that shit and landed it. My knees were like, ooh, dodgy. But I did that shit because he wanted it done. And he didn't realize I'm not a zero skater. I'm more of a fucking Stevie Williams, Gino, Costin, all those geniuses. I like Heath Kitchard as well. Heath Kitchard and Mike Vallely and Chad Barty. I loved his stuff. Who else? Jason Ellis. I kind of think he's a legend just because he's a tough cunt. That's the man. He's a funny ass motherfucker. And I like all the fresh cunts like Kelly Hart and Chris is funny. Chris Krob is funny because I used to think he was a horrible dude with his humor, but now I know he's got a shtick, and that's who he is, and he's actually a genius and a legend, and he can hide who he is if he wants. Tonight on the Jason Ellis episode, he kind of showed a bit of what he really feels, and I could see that's really hard for him to express how he really feels, whereas I'm like Macklemore's friend who went to sobriety meeting with him, who he said was a rapper. He was a rapper, but he wasn't very good, which is really sad to say, but I guess he's just being honest. And the brother, he got taken to the studio with Mac Lemore, and he recorded some shit, and then he went home and he celebrated by hitting the drugs, Oxycontins or heroin, whatever it was, and he died that night, but he went out happy, let's face it. So you can't knock that. Like, Mac Miller probably went out pretty happy that fentanyl takes you to another world. But at the same time, if you want to stay here, you want to live a healthy life, you want to be wise, you're probably going to want to stay away from that shit. And, yeah, all the stuff I hear about, like my old friend Jack, I won't say his last name, but he had a pee addiction and it, like, took him to the gutter and he realized, what am I doing here? I woke up in the gutter, I'm stopping this. And that's happened to a lot of my boys from back in the day. Only Dean Clark, R.I.P., he was stabbed and he's gone from drugs, drug-related stuff. And the guy that stabbed him, he had a psychotic situation. And I couldn't go to the funeral because I felt implicated in both senses as the side of the guy that did the bad thing and my friend that was fucking killed. So it was awful. I couldn't do shit. I just cried and fucking carried on Facebook. You never read about that. Anyway, this was 30 minutes of my life. If you feel like my life is worth something, like you want me to eat some fucking food for my efforts on this YouTube channel, please, I'll put my PayPal, I'll do something. I'll put something there, so my PayPal, I'll do something so you can, like, I don't know. I want I want to somehow support myself so I can eat a little better than rice and margarine. I'm not even complaining. Yeah, I'm grateful for that food. But I do want to be able to like buy things like Chuento's and Lucky's new album for $35 right now. I'd buy it straight away if I could, but I've actually got no money. So yeah, it's weird. If I think about money too much, I'm miserable. But if I have it, I'm happy. So figure that one out. And if I ask too much for people to support me, that's not a good position to be in either. But I have to do something because otherwise I'm just stuck. Yeah. And I do know that I have things of value to say. I do know I have people that want to hear them. And I do know I have quite a wide audience if I did work on that to grow it and show people that there is value here. Because I do say a lot of valuable stuff and it is useful. And really only a few people are getting the benefit of that because I'm so cut off from everyone. Like, just stay by myself and yeah. But there's life. So yeah, if you feel like helping me live, do. And I mean, I can I can make videos because I like to do it, but I also need to put my energy into somewhere where I'm gonna get some kind of benefit to like help me do it. Like if Carmel Cipollone, who I've emailed twice about how hard life is on the benefit, does something about it, sweet. But I can sort of guarantee she ain't gonna unless Ricardo Menendez March gets in there and tells her that we have to have some sort of change. It's gonna be nothing, and we're always gonna be struggling. And I can tell you it's hard to have life on the benefit for as long as I have, and when staff look at me like I'm the one doing it, like it's like my choice to be like this, it's ridiculous. They don't know shit, and they shouldn't. Most of those people shouldn't even do that job because they've got no compassion. Just like most hospital staff at the mental hospital shouldn't do that job because they're a pack of dicks and they're power hungry and mad and they use it over your head. Oh, there's some bad buggers there, eh? It's been hard being in the system since I was about 23 years old, and I'm now 43. So that's 20 years of this bullshit. I'd like to get over it. Thank you very much. So I'm asking God, I'm asking the Creator, Yo Kore Matua, to help me out so that I can get past this and make a real contribution to life and actually enjoy my life a lot more than I do now. I'm sick of people calling me crazy in the street and thinking I'm just a nutcase because of whatever they fucking think. Because if I posted on the community forums when I was sick and now they all judge me. It's way harder to live this life than it is to make a call that someone's bad because you don't understand them and you're not willing to try. That's some bullshit. And I would sure as heck hope I wouldn't do it to you if you showed me who you truly were. And I know most people aren't brave enough to even say a sentence that they mean. They'll just fucking nod along and laugh at you the whole time they know you. And then when it comes to the end of the time, they know you just ghost you and say it's all your fault. And yeah, I believe it. Everyone who knowed her about her will know who that is. So yeah, those people, like they say they don't care about um, me having money, but then talk about money as options to me, and it's like, yo, you like a. Everyone's a bit hypocritical to a degree. But anyway, this is going to be 35 minutes of thinking of my thoughts and If you take it for free, just know I ain't eating anything but rice and margarine, motherfucker.